And now says we've been on live for 7 seconds.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh boy. Oh geez.
Let's see. Sometimes it doesn't pop up right away though, so we'll see if it actually goes. Okay, you ready?
Might as well do the clapping after. I heard that one, by the way.
I know we always mess it up. Oh, where's the? Hmm. But nothing's showing up. That's weird. Maybe we did it wrong. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. Maybe we did it wrong. Let me look.
Maybe.
It's so hard to tell because I don't see any actual video from it.
Yeah, I don't believe it's. I do not believe we are currently live. No.
Oh, do you have it there?
Oh, there we go. It popped up. We're live.
Oh, but can you see it and everything?
We are. Once you get
Oh,
past
there it
the
goes. There the whole
Pizza
thing
Hut
goes.
ad, of course.
Oh, okay. All right, you ready?
I mean, I was born ready.
Okay, what percentage of people do you think like you? Like, what percentage of people do you think like you, basically?
Probably 90 to 95%.
That's ridiculously high. There's absolutely no way that 90 to 95% of people like you. I would agree that 99 to 95% of people may act like they like you or may appear to like you, but I don't think that many people actually like you. I would say 25% of people probably like me. Actually like, not tolerate, not get along with, not think like, yeah, that guy's okay. I would say 25% of people.
No, I'll go. I'll stick it. I would say 9 out of 10 people that I meet like me.
Oh, I think you're vastly overestimating how many people like you. Or you're deceiving yourself about how many people like you.
Could definitely be a deceivement, but I mean, I think liking and actually being friends are something different. I think, you know, uh, 9 out of 10 people like me, but how many people would actually want to be my friend? Maybe 3 or 4 out of 10.
Oh, I still think that's pretty high, man. I still feel think you're overestimating it. I would say two to three out of 10 like me, and maybe one, maybe 5 out of 100 would want to be like my friend.
Do you need friends? I'll be your friend.
I think everybody needs friends as they get older. I
Yeah,
think it really becomes harder to have friends as you get older.
I just want to blame my children because I feel like, you know, once you have children, it's over because you start to lose touch with your friends, and then you get into school and activities, and then you have a whole new group of friends. Before you know it, your old group of friends aren't even there anymore.
How many groups of friends have you gone through in your life? Like, okay, I had this group of
Oof.
friends. I can think I kind of had high school friends, college friends, friends around the time I was 27, and now it's like parenting friends. Where you're people that you do things with, but I don't know if like would we really be friends if we didn't have kids who did the same thing?
Man, how many? I mean, I don't know because I was that kid in grade school that was part of every clique, right? Every group. I mean, I'm gonna say countless. I'm gonna say
Oh my
dozens.
god. Mr. Popular. I think you are vastly overestimating how many people like you and how many friends that you have. But you are a much more personable person than I am.
I mean, I don't know about that. I think maybe on the outset, I'm a
Oh
little.
yeah, on the outside.
I'm an introvert that pretends to be an extrovert, for sure. That's where I think you're just an introvert until you get to know somebody a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm more private. See, this is why I think that you're vastly overestimating how many people like you. So we polled the audience. This was one of our highest votes. We had over 1,000 votes already. Uh,
Wow.
39% of people said 0 to 25%. 25% of people said 25 to 50. 26% said 50 to 75. Only 9% of people said 75 to 100% of people like them. So most people think only 25% or less of people like them. Which I would agree if you kind of go with no actually liking you rather than tolerating or being friendly with. I think it's far lower than what you're estimating.
Once again, I think there's a difference in someone liking you and actually moving on beyond just the like.
Yeah. Okay. I will agree with that. You ready for your shout outs or whatever you're going to do next?
Shout outs, where people come to hear their name spoken by the guy that everybody likes. Let's see here. Heath Baldwin, Ken Lewin, Shane Root. Don't know if that's an actual real name, but I feel like there's not enough Shanes in the world, and I kind of like that name, Shane.
Yeah, but that's one also a name that there can only be so many. If it loses its power if there's too many Shanes. Can't have too many Shanes.
Richard Klein, Chris Mishu, Anastasia Bojganovich. That's a tongue twister there. Justin
Russian. That sounds like a Russian name.
Justin Mariano, Peter Jones, and we're going to end here on Norby Vasquez. Now, you don't hear very many Norbies too often.
No, I knew a guy named Jeff Norby way back when. That's the only thing that I knew was his name was Jeff Norby. There's a lot of people that I've realized in my life. The only thing that I know about them is their name. Like, oh, that's just their name. I can't put any single other characteristic to them. I have two shout outs. Shout out number one, the first person you mentioned, Heath Baldwin, who will be competing for the gold medal decathlon.
I was kind of stole it, but I was going to segue into an Olympic rant. But you know what? Never mind. I'm not going to now.
Okay, so shout out to Heath. Good luck. USA,
Boom.
baby. USA. And then I'm going to mispronounce their name, I think, because I'm doing it right off the top of my head. But Kurt, or Curtis, whichever one you're going by, Holm. I don't have the email right in front of me, but sent us a very nice email. I appreciate that. Thanks, man.
Did he say that he thinks he would like us if we met in person?
One of us.
Well, you are the face that runs the place. I'm just the sidekick.
Nice rhyme.
I am just the sidekick that could be thrown into the vat of acid.
You needed to come up with a rhyme for that. If you would have said the face that runs the place and the sidekick that's something, I don't know what you could have rhymed it with. But if you would have been able to rhyme it, that would have upped your likability.
I definitely feel like rhyming is kind of like Olympic breakdancing. You don't think you need it in your life, but when it's there, you have an appreciation for it.
Oh, you always got to find the time to rhyme. It's sublime when you find the time to rhyme.
That's damn fine. Well, now it's time to talk about some current events. Anyways, so
you couldn't.
What rhymes with event? Nothing rhymes
man.
with the
I
with
could
event.
never rap. I don't know how people rap at all. I could never rap. Like the most amount of lines that I could possibly rhyme together is maybe 3, just off the top of my head.
I mean, I feel like I could rhyme a little longer. I mean, it's pretty easy. Cat, bat, sat, mat, fat, vat.
No, but like an actual rap, not just like repeating words that rhyme.
Oh, well.
Like the frog on the log. Watch out for the smog. Living
Your
in
dog.
the bog.
Yeah, your dog chilling in a bog, in the fog. What's up, dog? I don't know. Anyways.
See, you threw dog out there 3 times in the space of 5 sentences, man. Like, it's
Nobody
hard.
knows.
I couldn't rap at all.
Nobody knows. Well, there's a reason why no one's ever approached us to do any of that. All right, let's talk a little current events here. The RNC. I don't want to talk about anything political related, but I have to mention Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz's face. And I don't know if you saw the before and after pictures. And I'm not making fun of him as a person, so no one take this as a political anything. But the dude looked normal before his speech at the RNC. Somehow, between him doing an interview and actually giving the speech, he had Botox done on his face, and he looked like Meatloaf from that one music video where he's like a demon. I mean, it looked terrible.
Every once in a while, there's a celebrity that does some kind of celebrity or a public figure, however you want to define it, that does something to their face, and you're like, what the hell were you thinking? that like every once in a while, I remember that Carrot Top guy came back and like, what?
Oh,
He didn't even look like a person anymore.
yeah, dude.
Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, did something. There's like all these famous examples of somebody coming back and not kind of like, oh, did you have something done? Like, what
Here,
did
I don't know. I don't know
you
if you can
just?
see.
I could never. Like, what did he do? That's insane. Like, you did too much. You went a little too far.
So
Like, that's one of those things where like I could never have any kind of plastic surgery done to my face simply because like the risk of it going like I would never go big or go home with plastic surgery on your face. Like, no, keep that small. Let's not Botox the whole face.
it just, I mean, yeah, like what do you do then? Like what, like if it's an accident, you're just, I guess you got to man up. You just have to keep going with their plans. Like,
I don't know. Like, I would just pull a hammy. Like, oh, I sprained my leg or something. Like, I'm not going out there looking like
yeah,
that. I
dude.
think that without getting into politics, because we are not a show that gets into politics, but
Nope.
I think that all of us can agree that there has to be some sort of consideration of what the hell is going on every direction you can go. Like, I don't know if it's the media that just is hyper focused all the time on any little thing that anybody says. Like, people misspeak. It happens all the time. You call Jim John, you call John Jim. Like, those things happen. It's not a big deal. But like, what the hell is going? I cannot wait for this to be over. If I could be put into a coma and wake up in December, I absolutely would.
All I'll say is I can tell you from someone that is still actively in the media. Every day brings a variety of good stories, bad stories. It's going to be a wild ride till we get to November.
There is definitely something about the old adage that if you get a bunch of people together, we will always somehow find a way to make the worst possible decision. And that seems to sum up the state of American politics in every single direction, whichever way you want to go. The more people you have involved in a decision, the worse that decision is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's just politics. I feel like that can be applied to any decision with a group of people.
For anything, the more people involved, the worse the decision will be. Okay.
All right, let's move to something that's a little fun here. Um, you're a museum guy, right? You like history.
Not really. I mean, I like history, but I would never go to a museum. I like any even the word museum. Like, I'm bored by the. If I knew how to, is it MEU or MUE? How do you
Jesus
spell museum?
Christ.
Is it
M U
MEU?
S MUSEUM.
MUS? I don't know, dude. Are you sure?
Yeah, dude.
Museum.
It's
MUS. Anyway,
yeah.
MUSEUM. I am bored by the S in museum. By the time somebody gets to the second syllable of the word museum, I'm already bored.
All
Like,
right.
you want to
Well,
go to a museum?
what if I
No.
said, "Hey Nick, let's hop in the car and go to the Pooseum"?
Is it
Would
just
you? Would
poo?
you? And it's in Arizona, and apparently it is a Pooseum that specializes in poop.
They just,
It
I
ha-
don't know. I don't want to go see that at all.
it has a variety of displays ranging from termite poop to massive poops that weigh 20 pounds.
What? Who's taking a 20-pound poop?
I mean,
Oh,
probably
it's got to be an
elephants.
elephant. That's
Yeah.
probably massive. I don't ever want. I don't want to see poop at any time.
I mean, once again, I feel like if you've been a parent or if you've been around a child, I mean, aren't you like kind of poop sensitized? I guess the word is
I still
like
don't
you're.
want to see it.
I I'd go to the poop
Like,
museum.
I'm
Why
not
not?
like ever want to. I don't have a sense of smell. I wouldn't. I mean, I don't have a sense of smell. Poop affects me in no way whatsoever. I still don't want to see it. I certainly don't want to go see like fossilized poop. Like, I'm just not really very interested in it. Although poop can tell you a lot about what's going on in your body. It's a very healthy medical tool.
Speaking of healthy
I would
people,
never. I don't want to see it.
Britney Spears apparently is back at it, and yeah, This time she got called out by another stable person, that being the Osborne family, Ozzy and Sharon. And I just got to know, when's this going to stop with her? I mean, we all say she has some kind of psychological problem, right? But she's been doing this now, I think it's like a year, where she just releases these videos of herself.
Yeah, that's
Like,
to me is that's become a train wreck, and I don't want to be a part of that. Like
I
I don't want to watch. Like somebody who may or may not need mental health help. I don't want to be any part of that.
I just don't. I guess some of the reason why I really brought up was I was surprised that the Osbournes would come out and just kind of voice their opinion on it when it's been happening for a year now. Like, why wait, 7 months into it to finally say something? And why say anything at all? It makes no sense.
What do they got? Look, whenever you hear a celebrity say something about another celebrity, the ultimate question is, when's their next album, movie, event coming up? Because
Like Hulk Hogan on stage at the RNC.
Right, like that's just all they're doing. It's just free promotion. Like
Listen,
they don't really.
What once again, not bringing politics into it, but Hulk Hogan, for everyone who thought he stood up on that stage and just did it for Donald Trump. Hulk Hogan's on a national advertising tour right now for his beer. So,
it's there's always a con, man. There is always a con going on somewhere, right?
Always.
Somebody's always selling something, same as anything else.
All right. In the cinema world, any interest in Twisters?
I'm from Kansas, bro. I've seen real twisters. I've seen real tornadoes. Why would I want to go and see the movie? This fake stuff. Plus, I'm also since I'm from Kansas, like I don't care about like the movie Twister. Everybody's like, "You ever seen the movie Twister?" Like, no, man, I'm from Kansas. I've seen a real one.
All right, so tell me a story. Tell us a story. What's the closest you've ever gotten to a tornado? And I don't mean like, it was 3 miles away, and you heard the sirens. Like, were you ever within where like you could see the funnel cloud coming at you?
Oh yeah, like I don't know how many funnel clouds that I have seen. The closest that I have ever been to a tornado was 2008, maybe 2009. I was working as a news reporter in Kansas, and I was storm chasing, and I was in between two cities and driving towards Greensburg, Kansas. And as I got close to Greensburg, Kansas, I felt the back of the car start to go up, and then I ran over a telephone pole that was on the ground, and then 8 people were killed by that tornado. So,
Oof.
yeah, now don't you feel like a jerk?
I mean,
like, oh, you never seen a tornado? Yeah, I've seen a bunch of people killed by one.
no, I didn't. I never said. I just wanted to know the story. I mean, it's a tragic story, but man, that's a crazy story.
Oh yeah, those things are they usually aren't fatal. They're generally not usually fatal.
Yeah.
Because they like there's something about like a big city or populated areas they they'll stay away from them because the heat pushes them away. I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist. They just don't usually hit big cities, so they don't usually cause a lot of damage, but they're not usually fatal because people in Kansas are ready for them. But that one wiped out, I think it was 96% of the town. The only thing standing was a grain elevator, which is like made out of solid concrete.
Good
Literally,
God.
the whole town was destroyed.
Damn. All right. Well, I guess we'll have to.
They don't need to see your Twister movie, man.
You don't need
life.
Well, I'm not gonna go see it actually because I don't really.
I don't want to watch any more remakes. That's one of those movies that I feel like it's going to be really hard to beat the original. Kind of, I would almost put that in the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory-esque. We're like, no, they got that the first time, and I don't know how you're going to beat that.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely something. I mean, Willy Wonka, that's one of the outstanding only originals. Twister. I don't know. I guess I'll have to see it, but I don't want to see Twisters at all, actually.
I wonder when they're going to start trying to remake really popular movies that came out when we were coming of age. Like, when are they going to try to remake Lord of the Rings? Because that's 20 plus years old now.
Man, I don't even want to. That just makes me feel. I don't even want to think about
That
that
makes
at
you feel
all.
old, but that's coming. They're gonna remake that soon.
I don't. I mean, well, okay. Let me ask you this: would you go and see it, regardless? Like whatever your favorite movie franchise is, if they remade it 30, 20 years later, would you go see it, knowing it's going to be probably a giant pile of trash?
No, I don't think I've seen any remakes. Maybe Dune, but I was too young, I think, to really see the first one. I mean, I guess that would be technically like a remake that I saw, but that would be it.
I do have to give you some credit, by the way, for those of you who listen to the show. You know Nick's take on things that are popular, especially current things that are popular. I was with some friends, and one of them said that your thoughts on that. They share the same thought with you. They don't want to. They don't care about it if it's popular. They don't want to see it. They don't want to read it. They don't want to do anything. They just don't care.
Yeah, it immediately makes it just something I'm not interested in if it's popular.
Like, and I'm just like, oh, all right. All right, last thing here. This is Olympics related.
Okay.
Can you name the oldest gold medalist to ever win a gold medal at an Olympic Games, winter or summer?
No.
Oscar Swan.
Can I
A
guess the sport?
Yes. Do you want to know how old, or try to guess the age and the sport?
I'm guessing. Well, give me the. I'm guessing in his late 40s, early 50s.
No.
Older than that?
Older than that, yes.
Then it has to be something like archery or shooting.
It is shooting, yes.
Yeah, I mean that you could do. I could see somebody doing that their entire life. I mean, until your eyes go bad, but then you just get glasses. Like I could see somebody being a gold medal shooter in their 80s. How old was he?
So he was 64 when he won a gold medal, but he competed in the Olympics when he was 72 years old.
Yeah, I mean that's not like a physical. I'm sure it's physical, but it's not a physical sport in the same way like track and field is a physical sport. We had a person on here a couple of years ago that was a speed walker or race walker or whatever they're calling it now. They change the names every once in a while. And they
Yeah.
said that actually people don't reach their prime until their 40s in that sport. That it's a much older sport, even though it's very athletic.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I mean, this was deer shooting, where they actually shot deer. Like that was
Oh,
an
they
Olympic
actually
sport.
shot the deer in the forest in the Olympics?
From my understanding, they brought these deers to the range and then would set them free, and you had to shoot them.
Oh, that's a pretty. You
Peta,
can't do that
if,
now.
Peta, it's not our fault. It's not my fault. Don't be angry at me.
Look, we have made progress in a lot of areas, okay? That's why my general message to no matter what the world seems like, we're doing all right. Like you're doing fine. You're doing all right. We're all just doing the best that we can.
Yeah, exactly. Sure are.
Everybody's just doing. This is my philosophy of life. Now that I want to segue into this, nobody knows what we're doing. Nobody knows what they're doing in life, and we're all just doing the best that we can.
Well, I feel like that's a perfect time to segue into our top five of this week.
Okay. Okay. So our top five is the top five Summer Olympic sports, and we're gonna name the sport, but then also, if applicable, you have to name the event in that sport. Because a lot of them are like, okay, so it's this, like say track and field, but there's tons of events in track and field.
Yes.
You got to name the sport and then the actual event. What's your number five?
So I have two different running events in my top five.
Okay.
My number five is the 200-meter dash.
Oh, that's an interesting pick for your number five.
Why?
Yeah,
Why?
That's a big track and field event. So I used to run track and field in 8th grade, so I feel like I know a lot about track and field.
Okay.
That's not one of the more popular events. That's probably in the top 10 track and field events.
That's okay. I mean, I feel like in the Olympics, this and the other one, which I'll get to later, especially nowadays track, and once again, I only follow it on the outskirts. They're the quickest. They're the most intense. You literally can't mess up usually in the 200 or the 100 because you're done from the get go. If you have a bad start, it's over. It's just you have to be on your best in that moment to win it.
I would be so nervous to get that start right. To like, I wouldn't want to fall. Like, you have to do that exactly at the right time. Because if you false start, you're out. So you can't go a little early or anything like that. I don't know if well, I guess that's why they're professional athletes, right? But you can't make a single mistake. And every 4 years, you have 4 years to do this race, and you make a mistake, and you're done.
You're just done. I mean,
You
it
just have a
happened to
bad
a guy
day.
named
You just have a bad day.
it happened to a guy named Zarnell Hughes from Great Britain in the 2020 Olympics. I guess it's 2021 technically. Just imagine that. You train, and then you false start, and they don't give you an extra false start.
You don't get
You're just done. Like, what?
I feel like they should give him one false start. But I do remember like one Olympics watching it, and there was a bunch of them. Linford Christie, and then he was kicked out. Anyway,
Yeah, Linford. Yep. Anyways, yep.
my number 5 is diving, specifically the 3-meter springboard. I think that's just the coolest thing. Like the way they go up to it, they do the little bounce thing, they do the flips, they go in, like no splash. Like to me, that is kind of an epitome of human ability. Like, look what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm gonna seem probably nonchalant on a couple of these things. I don't mean it to be that way. Diving to me is more of an art than it is a sport. Um,
That
and
makes
and
no
I'm okay
sense. That makes no sense to me. How is it more of an art than a sport?
because you are judged based upon your entry into the water and your form going into the water. I'm not saying it's once again, I'm not saying that it's non-athletic to be able to twist your body and do all those things, but a perfect dive is like a drop of water going into an empty cup and it makes no sound. Like that's an art to me.
Oh, I see a little bit what you're saying.
It's like soccer, basketball, golf, even. Those are sports, right? Yes, diving's a sport, but the way that the Olympics have made it, it's like figure skating. It's like gymnastics. It's almost an art within a sport.
I could see that a little bit what you were saying. But, okay. All right, that makes more sense. I see what you're saying. Initially I was going to be like, what are you talking about? But like I kind of get it that you have to perfect this.
Yeah, I mean,
What's your Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say it's not diving is kind of like sprinting. You only get one chance most times. Well, actually, you might get like 3 attempts, but you know, you really only get one chance, right, to pull off a perfect dive, and it's pretty awesome. It's quite intense, I would imagine.
It's cool. What's your number 4?
Oh man, it gets so hard for me. But my number 4, I'm gonna put fencing at number 4.
Ooh. I also have fencing as number 4, but fencing I put in there as kind of like a combat sport tie, where I actually put it my number 4, fencing, karate, wrestling, and taekwondo. I think all of those are kind of the same in the sense that like they're really cool to see, but I'm not going to sit there and watch the whole thing. Like if I see 2 fencing matches, like all right, I got it. 2 karate matches, like all right, I got it.
Yeah, the reason why I put fencing kind of exclusively on the list is there's just something about the intensity of when they, jab each other and they just scream. Like once again, I'm not taking anything away from wrestlers, taekwondo folks, judo. That's also intense, but fencing, it's just you got to be so fast and you got to be precision, and I don't know, just it's amazing. All the sports
Uh,
are amazing.
if anybody is interested in learning more, we interviewed a Olympic fencer, Jackie Dubrovich.
Oh, Dubers.
She's going for it. She's going for gold. She's really good. I think she got silver last time. So
I
go
mean,
Jackie.
Jackie,
Go Jackie.
Jackie.
What's your number 3?
Uh, specifically, I know, specifically Summer Olympic related. I don't think this would be on my overall top 5,
Mmm.
but Summer Olympics specific, I gotta go with rowing.
What?
Yes,
Why? That's so boring. Like they're
it,
still rowing,
it's
and
not, man.
they're still rowing.
It's not.
They're
It's,
still
uh,
rowing.
it isn't to me. It is intense, and I don't know why, but I'm just glued to the TV. It can be two man, four man, one person. I'm just glued to the television.
Interesting. Oh, I don't find that. That's one of those things that, like, all right, tell me, tell me it later. Like I have no interest in watching that whatsoever. That's like the 10,000 meters. Like, all right, we're gonna be going around the track for the next 30 minutes.
Well,
Stay
I think
tuned. Like,
you're really gonna
no.
think my number two is probably pretty boring then, but we'll see.
Oh, but if it's what you're hinting that it is, I've actually watched the entire thing before. There's a story behind that if it's what I think that you might mention, but if it's not, my number three is ping pong. Ping
My
pong is awesome.
my number two is table tennis.
Oh, sorry, I should be using the official table tennis. But
Yes,
okay,
table tennis.
the reason that I put table tennis, aka ping pong, on there is I think it's one of the sports that clearly shows you how much better the Olympian is. Because some of those other sports like archery or like, oh, maybe I could do that. Like, you don't really realize how much faster those people are. But when you see table tennis, you're like, whoa, I can't do anything like that.
They are incredible. I mean, they are amazing. It's yeah. There's nothing else to say. They are incredible athletes.
What's your, okay, so your number two is table tennis?
Yeah.
My number two is gymnastics, but specifically the floor exercise.
Okay. I should have probably put gymnastics on the list. I did not.
You didn't put
Um,
gymnastics on the list?
I do not at
Oh,
all.
I think you have to. Gymnastics is probably, that might be the biggest thing at any Olympics. It's tough
Mm,
to tell if gymnastics is the biggest thing or if it's the most marketable thing.
I think we think it is just because it's in America, and we always push, and rightfully so. We always especially push the ladies teams. But I don't think it's the most populous, and I don't think it's I don't think it's the thing that drives the Olympics. I think swimming is more sought after than gymnastics.
Oh, swimming to me is very boring. Like, I'm not interested in watching swimming.
That's fair.
Like, it's just more efficient to run. Like, and there they go, and he's gonna be swimming for the next 20 minutes, back and forth, back and forth. Like,
Back and
okay,
forth, back
check.
and forth.
Let me know how is Michael Phelps still competing?
Mm,
I don't think
no, I
he
don't think
is.
so. I think
Did he
he's
compete in the
retired.
last Olympics? Yeah. What's your number? So, are you ready for what's your number one?
My number one is the 100-meter
Yeah,
dash.
that's my number one, the 100 meter dash. I think that is the biggest. I think that not only is that the biggest event at the Olympics, but that is the biggest test of athletic ability in the world. Like, that is
Oof,
the
oof.
ultimate, like, if weightlifting didn't have weight categories and you just had like the overall strongest person, I think that would be a big draw. But like, who's the fastest? Who's the fastest person in the world?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say what you said, but I will say that it is by far the most exciting, at least 10 seconds of any Olympic sport that's played, probably. Um,
Oh
I
yeah.
don't think you have to be the best athlete. And once again, hold on. Obviously, you have to be a non-human to be an amazing sprinter. But I mean, I'm probably going to put triathletes above them. I'm probably going to put decathlon athletes above them. I mean, problem is there's such different disciplines. It's hard to really,
I I think decathletes are generally considered to be probably the best athlete at the Olympics because you have to be really good at a variety of things. I think they're generally considered to be the best overall athlete, but the fastest person on earth. Like, what would you be if you're Usain Bolt? You're the fastest person who has ever lived.
I mean, once again, that we know of, right? I mean, there's probably some guy or some girl in some country that probably runs a 9-1 that will just never get the chance to.
I mean, if you're that fast, you're probably. I understand what you're saying. I feel like now you'd probably get through. Like, oh, that person's really, really fast.
Yeah, probably. You
Especially
know,
if you're the fastest in the
one
world.
thing
Like
that I
in your
think
good.
I'll say one thing that I think I love the most about the Olympics is, watch it in a couple of weeks or whenever the 100-meter final is for men and women and see all the different countries represented. Like it absolutely is a corner to corner, of the world competition. I mean, you're going to have somebody from Botswana running against somebody from Jamaica. Like it's awesome. It's just it's amazing.
It's also cool to me in the sense that, like, with some of those events where you'll have like, but then one country dominates it. Like, I think Jamaica went 1, 2, 3 in some sprinting events, and there's only like 100,000 people in Jamaica. It's not a super. I think it's a fair. What's your honorable mention while I look up the population of Jamaica?
Let's see. So I do have gymnastics, specifically the floor routine. I also put on the pommel horse because I feel like that would just be it's incredible when they do backflips and somersaults on that thing and still maintain their balance. I just don't
Okay,
get it. What's the population of Jamaica?
2.8,
Damn.
2.8 million. So that's a lot more people than I thought. But still, that's kind of crazy that like everybody in Jamaica is just like fast as hell, just racing past you. Like, you never ever want to try to rob somebody and get away with it in Jamaica.
Yeah, don't do it because
They're gonna catch you.
you're probably not getting past them.
You're not getting anywhere.
Just a couple other things. I have water polo. Water polo is always fun to watch for some reason, just because you never know what's going to happen. I'm a big fan. This is a newer sport, but skateboarding. I think that's pretty awesome to watch nowadays. And then the triathlon, decathlon, all those athletes. The marathon. I'll watch the marathon.
I've actually watched I thought that was going to be your number two. I've watched the entire marathon. It was when my son was born and I had to be up really early, like watching him. But I watched the entire marathon. It was actually somehow kind of interesting, like 2 hours of it. Like, oh, they're still running.
It's, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. Just being able to run 26 miles in under 3 hours. Are you serious?
They run that in like. I saw one thing where like that guy's world record pace or whatever was basically
Hmm.
running at 13 miles an hour for 2.5 hours. That might be all of the other Olympic feats are very impressive, but in terms of like, oh my God, I can't believe we can do that. That would probably be the marathon, just like how far and how fast people can run.
Yeah,
That's
it's
incredible.
it's not even fair. I can't even walk up my stairs without breathing heavy, and these guys are running 13 miles an hour for 3 hours.
Can you walk up your stairs yet? Or do you still?
I can hobble. I'm hobbling. I'm getting there.
Are you in a boot? Do you have a boot?
I am out of the boot. No. All right. Yes, I'm out of the boot.
What do you think, though? How does it feel watching the Olympics? Meanwhile, you tore your calf muscle running 3 steps playing softball.
I really have no feelings about it because I'll become very depressed.
Right? Like, here's the pinnacle of human athletic ability. And then here's this guy who tore his leg
Yeah.
walking off a baseball mound.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I got nothing. You're absolutely. I mean, there's no way to put it. You're absolutely right.
the world is such a varied and different place. Like, here you've got somebody running a 9.500-meter dash, and here's another guy who destroyed his body playing slow pitch softball.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't get all the treatment and shit they do. So, I got to earn my way back. Anyways,
Okay, what do you think? Okay, put the Winter Olympics in this.
okay.
What do you think is overall? I don't know if there's any, for me personally, I don't think there's any Winter Olympic sport that even comes close to the
I don't think
100-meter dash.
yeah, I don't think anything beats the 100, but some of those short track speed skating competitions would probably be short track speed skating would probably be in there. I'm a big fan of ice luge, the luge
Oh yeah, that's
competitions,
kind of cool.
downhill
I
skiing.
I could put The only Winter Olympic sports that I think would make a top 5 for me of overall Olympic sports would probably be curling.
And you
There has to be a certain amount of like, oh, I never see this otherwise outside of the Olympics.
that's because that's where you live, man. Well, you live in Seattle. You got curling gyms around you, I'm sure.
Yeah, we got them somewhere. I don't know. Maybe I need to check into this.
I think you should.
Okay, we're gonna end it.
Peace.